iPhone and everything is interacting currently because what was it like a month and a half ago? Yuzu got banned, which is the Switch emulator and everything else that everybody was using to run Switch emulators and
Yeah.
Switch games. It was about a month and a half ago. And then iPhone finally clears after what, 16 years of iPhones?
Hmm.
Emulators being allowed on your phone. And I'm so confused why these two things happen back to back and backwards.
I've got a theory about that one because it seems like the ultimate Nintendo honeypot. They just built a really strong case against Yuzu. They're like, hey, you can't monetize this. You can't even like Patreon, paywall, and update any monetization that's going to like emulate our software and our games and is kind of built off of our stuff. You're not allowed to do. So they're kind of like winning and skirting around that whole Sony thing. But now with this, it's like, wait a second. There's like hundreds of millions of people that are now pirating Game Boy games and N64 games and all these older games. And some of the apps are like trying to get in development. Some of them are even paywalled. So I think Nintendo just has like, here's the ultimate case. We have 50 million reports of piracy. The second iPhone opened this up. I think it's a honeypot.
Or do you think that the new thing that they're going to do is they're going to kill all of these emulators or have one? Like they are going to purchase one, which is probably going to be the end goal. You already see this on the Switch itself. They have an emulator for N64. They have an emulator for GBA titles. It's already done by Nintendo. There's going to end up being a Nintendo emulator on your phone, and they might end up dropping the Switch after Switch 2.
I'm pretty sure the Nintendo Switch is going to be backwards compatible.
That might be possible too, but
And then,
I
like,
don't.
you already have the Nintendo Switch online, so that's the only reason people are keeping with it is because you have all the games and then the expansion for
Exactly.
N64. So
But
Nintendo's weird. They're allergic to money. Like, the obvious
yeah,
play is release every game, bring back the eShop, make GameCube work on the Switch, and you make billions of dollars. So I don't think they have any money incentive here. I think they're just making it to where it's like, yeah, guess what? Everyone on Twitter is admitting to piracy. That's how bad it is. That's why all emulators need
but
to get shut
the
down.
line, the lines are not so defined that it's not. It's hard to understand exactly what is a problem and what is not. And you might be able to describe this a little bit. I sent you a video this week done by Mudahar, and I was like, "This is crazy." Some people are going to jail because of Pokemon being modded in and hacked in Japan. Yeah, Wolf, you probably should be in jail too, but technically you stole money. Haha, sorry. Get you in there for the clicks. Um, but with this, it seems like everything's in the gray area. The console itself, so the emulator might be the most illegal thing that you're doing,
Yes.
which is the hardest part to understand and kind of grasp because everybody's like, oh, you get cease and desist letters from your service provider if you download a game. It's like, but I own the game. And that's somehow like a catch 22 for a lot of it. And it's
Yeah.
hard to understand.
Well, the thing is, there like a lot of this goes on like super ancient precedent that was set like by legal decisions. Sony lost, and that's why emulators are legal. However, there was also a case for like a right to a second copy, so you have a digital backup. So you have a right to a digital backup of your physical hardware, but you have to make it yourself. But you can't do that without an emulator, and places like Japan, that's illegal. So, you have to like hack the thing you're not allowed to hack. You break your TOS to then rip it yourself, and now you have your exact copy of your exact game cartridge. So if you download it, that's not a second copy. That's wrong.
So it seems like the availability or the dongle that they used to sell, because I believe that's how they used to even do YouTube and stuff back in the day before the capture cards on the 3DS, was they would use a dongle that would attach to your computer where you plugged in the fucking cartridges and stuff like that. They were
Mhm.
using that to rip the game, and that's, oh, you're supposed to buy your own instead
Yeah.
of, I have the game already, I'm allowed to have a digital copy, let me download it.
And also, like, depending on that, there's also like DRM stuff that gets in the way, so you don't just like it's not that simple for modern stuff.
Well, with PS3 and PS4 games, you had games like Fallout New Vegas, where if you didn't even purchase a new copy, you could not play the game.
Hmm.
I purchased a Fallout New Vegas copy, and it's like, oh, you've never owned this game before, you cannot play it.
Yeah. That's also goes back to counterfeiting things. So like if you just put a counterfeit disc into a PlayStation, just say nah, And then there's also like weird bypassing devices that you would have to use for like the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and stuff.
Yeah, no. That's where this gets really weird and really gray area. Is like, okay, so we have a legal right to have a available second copy if this thing breaks. I bought this for life. But
Mhm.
now digital games and the way that games work, they are removing your access to them within years now.
Yeah.
It's we're removing them from the store. So we both have arguments, both standards. The emulators and the companies both have standards that are being disrespected at this point. We
Yeah,
are
and
not
there's
being
also
respected as consumers, and prices are going up.
yeah.
So we're all downloading shit. We're all making it available to ourselves and other people. But at the same time, that's not the right answer either. It
Mhm.
seems like as a whole, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Everybody's standing on shit that they don't even fully understand. And everybody's getting fucking confused because none of it fucking makes sense.
That's
And
because all
now,
these cases are outdated. Like the technology has gotten way too insane for this to have ever been a consideration in the 90s or whenever this happened.
and as a whole, it seems like Nintendo is kind of jumping in and trying to slit throats, and they're not right either. Like, are they right and standing on moral ground? Yes. They're saying, hey, you cannot illegally download this game without paying for it too, which is probably the standard that they would stand behind if that's what they were offered.
Hmm.
If they said, okay, when you purchase a game, you get a computer copy that you're able to download, I think most fucking companies would be like, sure. Remember when Blu-ray discs came out and they're like, yeah, you get an HD digital copy. Nobody gave a fuck. Every single fucking DVD for $5 more had a digital copy. I bet you if you released every game right now for $5 more and there was 2 copies of each game, how many fucking digital copies would be purchased? Every single fucking one.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. It fixes the entire problem. Just go the DVD and Blu-ray route and just release digital copies with everything. Create a Nintendo District fucking emulator if that's what you want to do. Sell that for $20. Sell that for $30. And literally put your hands up. That's all you have to do. Everybody now is starting to get computers in their house.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying like bullshit basic HP computers that I bought from a mom and pop shop that's been 15 years old. People are now building computers. What's so bad about people just allowing you to use your fucking copy of whatever the hell you want to download, whether that's Scarvy or fucking Diamond and Pearl? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit's already there. You're not going to be able to scrub the internet from this. You can't. So how do you fix it? That's how you fix it.
Well, then
HD
they lose
digital
out on
downloads.
console profits, though, because then you can get mom and pop's emulator that some dude brewed up, and then you can buy just the game from Nintendo.
Then you're breaking copyright. Make
Yeah,
it
but
so that way the copyright title that you download on your computer has to be used on your device.
But then why are
you're-
emulators legal?
That's what I'm saying is they're attacking the download and distribution of the game itself.
Mhm.
Now finally they're attacking the emulator with Yuzu. So flip it. Stop attacking the game downloads. Give them $5. This code is only available to you. If you share this, it breaks. Neither one works. Sell it for $5 more with each copy, and then sell an emulator. That's all you have to do, and it fucking runs.
Yeah.
Make it a monthly service. You already have it on the Switch. Just make it a monthly service on the computer. Bam, everything's gone. Everything's done. That's literally what everybody was saying to Xbox when they started lowering their sales profits behind PlayStation. They said you lost already. You lost. You lost during the end of the PS4 generation. Now you're losing completely. So, as a whole, change your fucking business model. You're fucking wrong. Flip it. Nintendo should do it.
Except they're allergic to money. Like I said, they just don't want any kind of computer involvement, which is weird because yeah, like if Epic Games makes their own launcher and store and like Steam is also a thing, like Nintendo definitely has the power to do any of that.
And even for all of you ROM hackers out there, I understand Verlis is going to say, oh, this is bad. I know your stance. But then you have the workshops and everything else where you can actually incentivize people to use your fucking game and use your IP, and they can make money and you could make money too. It's not fucking rocket science. The shit is fucking laid out for you. This is how you fix it. is you incentivize your company and you incentivize your fans to make this thing bigger, and Pokemon pops again. That's how you fix it. You incentivize the fan base. That's all you got to do. It's not hard.
Or not Nintendo. Japan just has that different culture though. Like there's no fair use laws. They are very protective and respectful of copyrights. Like if you build something, if you create anything, that is yours, and other people do not have the right to modify or infringe it in any capacity. I like that. I agree
Where does
with that.
Pal World come from? Is that a Japan game or is it a United
Yeah,
States
that's
game?
Japan developers.
How does that not cross like that gray area of copyright though?
We already talked about it because like Nintendo would have already taken them down. So it's like, oh wow, you made
No, I
our-
agree. I agree there. I'm just saying like that gray area of what is copyright and what is not. It's like they have the steps to fix this and handle the solution on the problem. Is just to first party it. Why? Like we're seeing a bigger problem with copyright right now in front of them. But yet they're targeting Yuzu, which is not the answer. Get rid of all of the emulators. Get rid of all of them. Target them. You already are probably putting money on one of these apps on the iPhone. I guarantee it. They have purchased one of them, or they are an investor in one of them, which is why they're able to sell them, not just free.
I mean, that could be the other long con, that like this isn't a honeypot, but then Nintendo comes in and be like, no, this is the only official emulator. Everything else needs to be cleared out. And
I
then
would
like
assume it's going to be rather similar to what they did when they released the remote control for PlayStation and Xbox.
I'm just saying,
mobile.
like, how much money could that make? Where like you just have your phone, it's a Game Boy, and then you turn it sideways and it's a Game Boy Advance, and then you click on the top right corner and it's just a shop of every Game Boy game for $5. Buy.
How many games do you buy?
However fast my finger clicks them.
Everybody would. And if you make it so way you have a download code when you purchase Scarlet and Violet 2 Electric Boogaloo, when you have to buy that game or the new DLC, you have a copy that fucking randomly downloads on your fucking Nintendo launcher on your fucking $2,000 PC. Do you know how nice that would be? Especially for content creators.
Yeah,
all of us have it
then you don't
right
have to
available to
fiddle
us.
with all the
Yeah.
capture devices and stuff. It's just already baked in.
Yeah. And guess what, Nintendo? Then you don't have to hear our mouths about saying, oh, this game's not optimized. It's literally perfect. You want to know how it's perfect? Because you made it to run on the hardware that you made. Instead of worrying about, oh, is somebody using a Switch Lite? Okay, we have to play every